Hello and welcome to my channel. For those who don't know me, I'm Gaynor Carrillo from the Spiritual Success School, where I teach mediumship, tarot and magical and spiritual living. And today we're going to talk about mediumship and a question that I've been asked, which is, can I hear from specific spirits? Interesting question. Can we hear from specific spirits? I want to speak to my dad. I want to speak to my grandmother. So the answer to the question, can we ask for specific spirits to come through in a mediumship session, is no, but yes. Let me explain. In reality, the medium doesn't get to choose who comes through. If anybody comes through in a session, that will be up to spirit whether or not they come through and who comes through. What the medium does, the medium opens up to receive any spirit messages. So all the medium's doing is opening up, and we're now tuning in to spirit so we can give any messages, give any connections or anything we're sensing or seeing. We don't get to specifically choose who comes through. Spirit have a reason whether or not somebody comes through and who comes through. So it really is up to them, and they've got their own reasons for this. What Spirit showed me over the years is that we need to trust the process. And I've had over the years clients who've come and they've wanted a specific spirit to come through. So for example, somebody may want the mum to come through. They were so close to the mum, and it makes sense that the mum would come through because they loved them so much and they've died recently. And in a mediumship session, maybe the grandmother's come through or a friend has come through. That can be a real hard sweet to swallow, because as a medium, we want our clients to be happy. We want them to get the messages. We want them to feel that love. We want them to have that connection. However, we do need to trust in the process. There's always a reason spirit do that. Now, on occasion, it could be the medium. For example, maybe I have 3 or 4 different spirits around me, and I'll connect with the strongest presence that I've got around me. And that may not be my client's mum who she wanted to hear from. Instead, it may be my client's grandmother. So I'm going to just connect with the strongest spirit that I've got around me, the one that I can connect quicker to and get the most information out of. Not necessarily the spirit my client wants to hear from. However, the majority of the time, it's about spirit knowing who's going to come through and why. So maybe my client didn't need a message that day from her mum. Maybe her mum wanted to kind of show herself in spirit in a different way to her daughter. Maybe the mum was already communicating with her daughter all the time and didn't feel the need to come through a medium. Maybe there's something else there. Maybe the grandmother really did have some information to say today. Something that maybe the mum didn't want to talk about. Whatever the reason, I have learned over the years that we need to trust spirit. Whoever comes through has come through for a reason, and whoever we don't pick up on, it's normally for a reason also. So in that sense, no, we can't be specific. I can't say I only want my grandmother to come through. And to be honest, I've had clients like that before. I've had clients come to me and say, like, I've come for a spirit communication with my grandma, and I've had to explain it doesn't work like that. First of all, spirit communication isn't guaranteed, and secondly, it's certainly not guaranteed who's going to come through. Well, I don't want to speak to anybody else, just my grandma. It's like, well, I'm sorry, that's not the way it works. And I've even had clients kind of refuse spirit as well. I've had a woman who their grandmother come through and she said, I don't want to speak to her, tell her to go away. I'm like, she's spirit. It doesn't matter, tell her to go away, I don't want to speak to her. I've had that happen quite a few times where my client have said, I don't want to speak to that spirit that's coming through now. What I do there is I always respect my client, and I just say quietly to my spirit person, please just leave. She doesn't want to speak to you, or he doesn't want to speak to you. Please understand that. And is there anybody else that would rather speak to them? I always have to respect my client. Obviously, spirit have come through for a reason. However, I have to respect my client's wishes. So who comes through isn't something that we can choose. However, the reason I said no, but yes, is because I've also learned over the years that there is ways that we can help connect to the spirit loved one that we want to speak to. The way that we do this is when we think of spirit, we often connect to spirit in that moment. Spirit can hear our thoughts, and will often do it when it's thoughts about them. So getting my client just to think about the spirit loved one they want to speak to is often one good way to help me get a stronger connection to that spirit loved one. It's not a guaranteed way. However, if there was 4 spirits around me, having my client think about the specific spirit they would like to communicate with, or just talk about them, or somehow remember them, it would help that me get a stronger connection. It's like it would bring them closer for me. It would just help strengthen their presence if they were around. Again, there's no guarantee they're going to be around. The other way I've found is photographs, or they connect with an object that belongs to the loved one. They're doing the same thing. They're basically thinking about them, even though they're doing it through a photograph, but they're thinking about them, and that just makes that connection stronger for me, because they're thinking about them. It's bringing the spirit loved one closer if they choose to be closer, but if they're closer to me, it just makes it easier for me to connect. Often my clients will say that they've spoken to the loved one before they came. So I may have a good session of mediumship with, say, my client's mum, and after the session they'll say to me, I actually asked my mum before I went in to see you if she would come through today. And I found, that seems to happen a lot, and it seems to work. It's not guaranteed, but it does seem to strengthen that link. So again, this is just ways that it's not going to magically make that spirit person come, but for a medium, if there is different spirit people around, it may help me connect to the one that you want to connect to. And it's also your way of just saying, as a client would be saying like, hey, mum, please come through today. And then your mum may decide, well, yeah, I'm going to come through. Or may say, no, not today. I've got nothing to say, or I'm doing it in a different way, or I'm already communicating with you all the time. There's always that possibility. But try these things whenever you go to see a medium. Just give it a try. Maybe take a picture. Maybe just communicate with your loved ones before you go there. Explain to the loved one, hey, I really would like you to come through today. And if they don't come through, don't be disappointed. It's not spirit's fault. It's not the medium's fault. And it certainly isn't your fault. There is always a reason for everything. Trust in the reason and appreciate any messages you do get. I often get people who are not really happy with the session because the mum didn't come through. Instead, the grandma come through, and they didn't really want to speak to the grandma, although they did love the grandma. However, the mum's just passed. So they're not really that happy with the reading at that moment. And then afterwards, when, maybe they've absorbed the message a little bit and the reading, they've been like, wow, my grandma actually did come through. And that's kind of a big deal. So I would just suggest to appreciate anybody that does come through to you. Any loved one that comes through. If it's a friend of yours that died some years ago, and instead of your mum coming through, your friend's coming through, don't diminish the magic there. Appreciate the fact that, wow, my spirit friend, my friend who died and left this world to go back home to the other world, has come through this medium to communicate with me. Appreciate that and see it for what it is. Mediumship doesn't have to be a once in a lifetime thing. You can always go back to a medium, and also you can always do your own mediumship. We're all mediums. So appreciate anybody that does come through in a message. The reason why spirit are not call on demand is really because they do often like to communicate with us. The signs that we get from spirit, those spirit signs, those moments when we just feel like, oh wow, that was a sign from my mum. Oh wow, that moment when it feels like it's hit your heart. Spirit love doing that. And often going to a medium is a great way for spirit to be able to give you a message, and for you to get some proof that your mom, your dad, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, they're still alive, they still exist. It's a fantastic process. However, sometimes spirit want to do it in a different way. They just want to send you a butterfly. They just want to send you a feather. They just want to send you that song that you played at the funeral, or the song that connects you to them. Sometimes they get more pleasure out of that than going to a medium. So that's why we can't guarantee mediumship. We can't guarantee the person that we want will come through when we want them to come through. And we need to appreciate any kind of mediumship that we do get when we go and see a medium. So the answer to that question, can you choose who comes through, is no, you can't. However, you can make the link a little bit stronger if they choose to come through by thinking about the person, by talking about the person or talking to the spirit person, and maybe bringing a photo or an object of theirs, just kind of tuning into them yourself. Hope this video helped. If it did, leave me a comment. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit like, and I'll see you in the next one.